What first comes to mind when you think of self-love? Well, that's just a part of it. But real and authentic self-love? Now that's not talked about as often. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Perspective Project podcast. This is your host Anushka, and today we are going to uncover the harsh realities of self-love. We are going beyond the aesthetic bubble baths, face mask stuff, and we are diving deep into what it actually and truly means to love yourself. If you are brave enough to take off your rose-tinted glasses, then sit back and buckle up because we are getting straight into it. What we have been conditioned to think when it comes to self-love is spoiling ourselves, protecting our peace by saying no to plans, cutting people off, avoiding the things that make us feel uncomfortable, prioritizing ourselves over others, and having this cute little perfect life. Don't get me wrong, I am a big advocate for all of these things. But it is quite shocking to learn that it is just a little portion of the huge pie of self-love. And if you want, we can absolutely talk about the self-care side of self-love in another episode. But what I want to focus, especially in this episode, is the uncomfortable truths of self-love. Doing the hard things, doing the scary things instead of avoiding them, taking off those mundane and boring tasks. These are the things that will actually give you that self-trust and self-confidence that you've been looking for. And all of these things is what takes up a huge portion under the umbrella of self-love. That, ladies and gentlemen, is discipline and consistency. At the end of the day, what will give us the long-lasting fulfillment and satisfaction in life is actually doing the hard things, is actually accomplishing something that we have been procrastinating on for long moments of time. There cannot be shortcuts to everything in life. To be alive means to do the hard work. It is inevitable. You cannot avoid hard work. As soon as you accept that fact, your life will become much more simpler and sorted. It is funny how we talk about setting boundaries with other people in our lives, but when it comes to setting boundaries with ourselves, we chicken out. Because then we will actually have to hold ourselves accountable and do the said things that we have been promising to ourselves for so long. You say you want a big-ass mansion. You say you want to be a billionaire. You say you want to have the perfect summer body. You say you want to find the perfect person. But are you actually doing anything to attain all of these things? Are you? I don't think so. Does it depend on your mood, or does it depend on how badly you want to reach a certain goal? It is not bad to have superficial goals. We are humans, we have desires, and there's nothing wrong with wanting those things. But what is bad is having a list, an entire wish list of things that you want from life and expecting them to magically show up at your door one day. And when your life hasn't changed in a year, in 2 years, in a decade, you're like, what happened? These things were supposed to manifest in my life. And then you find reasons and excuses to complain, make yourself feel better so that you don't hate yourself into oblivion. because you were the one who didn't take any action. You were the one who chickened out when you made your first mistake. You were the one who didn't continue when you faced failure for the first time. As I mentioned in episode 3, I believe, of the podcast, we innately know what the right next healthy decision is to be taken. We know that instead of scrolling for the next hour while we are in bed, we are supposed to get up, go on with our day, and actually do the things that we have written down. But we still succumb to the instant gratification, to the temporary pleasures that all of these little things provide us. And we are seeing everywhere that you make a vision board, and all of these things came into my life. But when someone talks about putting in the hard work, actually having struggled for years and years on end, that is something that we somehow block out of our minds, because it is really easy to choose to be lazy, sit with that discomfort of not having the things that you so desperately want to have, because you know that no one else but us are supposed to be blamed for not reaching our full potential. I know that these terms are used quite interchangeably, discipline and consistency, but there's a drastic difference between these two terms. Consistency means doing a particular thing over and over again for long periods of time, while discipline is showing up to do all of the said tasks no matter how you feel. And I know that it is really easy for us to slip into the mindset of overnight success, because that's what we have been exposed to. No one shows how much they are hustling on their platforms. Some people have started doing that, but what we are habituated to is seeing that this person didn't post for like 5 years and now he or she has this business, is an entrepreneur and all of those stuff. And we're like, what the hell? How is that even possible? And instead of thinking to ourselves that, oh my God, maybe in the last 4 to 5 years, these people might have actually put in the work to do the things that was required to reach that particular milestone, we think, oh my God, they're just lucky. Like right now, I have like 70 subs on YouTube. I could easily wallow and compare myself to the people on YouTube who have 1 million subscribers. But I know I have the vision that I want to be there. So I just don't have time to think about other people's accomplishments when I haven't even accomplished my own. And so even if I'm growing at a very slow pace day by day, at least I am growing. And that is what gives me the satisfaction. Why is your favorite sports person your favorite sports person? Because they play well? Because they have the fitness of a Greek god? Because they look good? All of these things, even looking good, needs practice, needs consistency and discipline. Everything takes time. Fall in love with the journey and not the destination. Having laser focus and seeing yourself come out of your own bounds, come out of your own fears and limits. That is a vision that I hope each and every one makes themselves experience, because your success is in your hands and nobody else's. Have your eye on the prize. When all you can see in the future is you having accomplished that certain thing, having reached that goal, everything just fades away. You don't care about what drama is taking place in that group chat. You don't care about that gossip. You don't care about anybody else and what they are doing with their lives. because you are so involved in your way and method of working, in seeing yourself grow, that nothing gives you that amount of dopamine that doing the hard work gives you. I think I should have mentioned this in the last episode of happiness, that doing the things that you've been avoiding to do is actually going to give you the most happiness. I used to be the laziest, at least. But now that I have a goal, now that I know that I have what it takes to actually be that person who I want to be, it is an obsession. It is almost an addiction that I want to keep working. I want to keep growing. I don't know what else to do.
Why do you work so much? Like, okay, yeah, that's my vice, but what else do you want me to be doing? Do you want me to be doing drugs?
Work as much as possible. Work towards your passions, towards your hobbies, and see how you improve over time. I know I wasn't the best when I recorded my first ever video, but now I see the progress with each episode that I record, and that gives me the most amount of fulfillment that I've ever felt in my entire life. And I know that we are so afraid of hard work and just being at it, doing something that will engage a lot of mental energy and time of ours and efforts. But we often forget to think about the reward that we will get after doing that certain thing. It's either that or you are just in the wrong place. If you are not enjoying what you are doing in life, then maybe you need to reevaluate and rethink about where you are in life and what changes, what editing needs to be done. It's okay if you are not exactly in the place where you want to be. No one is. We all start from zero. Make decisions from the perspective of who you want to become, not from the place where you are currently. Because the person who you want to be has an entirely different mindset. That person has an entirely different approach, an entirely different method to achieving the goals that he or she wants to achieve. If looking at things from your current perspective is not helping, close the gap and step into the shoes of your future self. If you all might have noticed that in episode 7 of the podcast, I mentioned that the past and the future doesn't exist. The really good thing about this is the fact that the future doesn't exist, which means you have the entire power in this universe to change the future. Nothing is destined. I used to be a huge believer in fate and destiny. But now, as I have been responsible for all of the decisions that I've been making and the way that my life is unfolding, I am realizing that you are in charge of your destiny. Your future is shaped by each and every choice you make in the present moment. Whether you decide to slack off or whether you decide to work on the said thing that you said you'd be doing for the 100th time is what is going to decide how your future is going to unfold. You know how there are so many video games with multiple endings based on the choices that you make? That is exactly what life is. Our goals are attainable, no matter how unrealistic they sound. We are literally on this floating rock. Is that not miraculous enough? Everything is possible. And when you approach life in that way, so many opportunities, so many doors open up for you. I'm not gonna lie, I do slack off sometimes. Come on, I am human. I'm not a robot. I'm not shaming you for slacking off sometimes. It is absolutely fine. We don't have energy all of the damn time to produce things with the same effort and consistency. But when you say you want to achieve all of these things and you are just complaining about how life is not offering you those things or the opportunities instead of you designing those opportunities, that just comes across as really unattractive. I have been this person before. I have been this person with really big goals, being so ambitious and just talking and talking about how I want my life to be this certain way and not taking any step towards it. Honestly, even I didn't like myself for that. Now that I'm seeing myself making progress, changing my mindset, and actually sticking to something each and every day, no matter what my mood is, no matter how the result is, because I'm constantly pursuing it, I have started to trust myself again. And this is what discipline gifts us with. It's that self-reliancy. What has really helped me to be disciplined is the fact that I have come to my senses. I've come to my senses in the way that I know that if I don't take any action each and every day, the consequences are going to be there. When we are lazy, we just don't care about anything in the world. It is really easy to forget about how our life will actually turn out if we don't do the hard and uncomfortable things. It is really crucial to attach value to your goals. Like, why do you want to be a millionaire? Why do you want to have or buy that car? Why do you want to have that occupation? Ask the why. The why is what will get you through those hard times when you just don't want to show up. If you want to prove it to yourself, if you have that itch, if you have that ache to be like, I don't want to do it for anybody else, I want to do it for myself. Guys, that is the mindset that will get you through so many tough things in life. Everything that you do, don't do it in order to prove it to someone else. Your worth is defined by you. You are who you decide to be. Others cannot describe you. Others cannot label how much you're worth. Do it to prove to yourself that you are capable of anything and everything. Because you are the person who actually did all of the hard things. It is because you believed in yourself that you would be able to do it, and you did it. Take tiny steps. As I said, do not try to accomplish everything on the list. Select one and take tiny steps towards it. You don't have to do something really grand and just tick it off in one day, because the long-lasting success is built from having a strong foundation. And so how do you build a strong foundation? It's by learning about the craft, learning about the skill, little by little. Rome wasn't built in one day, so your goals cannot be accomplished in one day. Why we used to procrastinate a lot was because we used to hold such high expectations from ourselves that, if I'm going to start walking each and every day, I am supposed to reach the goal of 10,000 steps. If I'm going to complete that assignment, it is supposed to be perfect. That perfectionistic mindset is just procrastination disguised. Because anything just done is also enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can be messy as hell. But at least you took the step. But at least you held yourself accountable. Motivation is fleeting. Do not rely on motivation, because all it will do is disappoint you. Motivation is like any other feeling. Who has ever in this world felt motivated for long periods of time to keep working towards their goals? Tell me one person. Sometimes it's just not possible. That is why discipline is so important. No matter how you feel, you guys, action over everything. Action over emotion. This is the quote that I tell myself all the time. When you are in your slump, when you are thinking about, oh my God, the future is so uncertain, or you are regretting your actions that you made in the past, break that loop by taking an action. It's like hitting two birds with one stone. By taking action, you will have worked towards your goal and also stopped rumination or anxiety in its tracks. How cool is that? And after working for a certain time, you will feel so accomplished and so happy. No matter how you feel, take an action. Take action. Take action. I cannot stress this enough. Take action. Whenever you feel yourself slipping and just feeling really sluggish, get your ass back up, do something. It doesn't even have to be work. You can go outside, walk, you can wear that cute dress that gives you that confidence. Do anything, but action over emotion. Your emotions are not facts, they are just indicators, and you cannot rely on it. What you have to rely on is logic. What is going to give you the future that you desire so badly? Use your logic. Learn to be patient. Patience is a skill that is going to save you from so much stress and overwhelm. Each and every step that you take is just as important as reaching the milestone. You wouldn't have the milestone if it weren't for you who were taking those steps. Fall in love with the process. Fall in love with doing the things that you are doing. Fall in love with the activity. Once you start operating from the mindset of results, that can easily set you back. You have to give up certain things in order to gain something permanently. Right now, what I really wanted to do was have some music in the background and scroll on Pinterest to visualize my dream life. But in order to get that dream life, I need to keep working. I have kept that for later. So if you are someone who struggles with consistency and discipline, and I think it is every one of us at some point in life, it is absolutely normal. What you want to do is, instead of giving yourself that snack, giving yourself the time to watch that show, make a list of the things that you want to accomplish. Beneath that, give yourself the incentive. Write the incentive for that task. In this to-do list, this task is my number one priority. Okay, once I'm done with that, what am I gonna reward myself with for completing that said task? It could be anything that you want. Because think about it this way, if you weren't getting paid to work, would you actually be working? In order to be consistent, at least in the first few weeks, the first few months, it is really important to give yourself something in return. And in order to be disciplined, especially when you are trying to maintain and build new habits, it can be helpful to tie it with something that you do mindlessly daily. If you are trying to go to the gym, the night before, you can keep your workout clothes right in front of your bed. So as soon as you wake up, you can see, oh, these clothes are already out. Wear it and go out that door. This way you are avoiding thinking. In that moment, you cannot talk yourself out of going to the gym. Anything that you do consistently, like brushing your teeth, having a shower, having breakfast, lunch, pair all of these new habits that you want to stick to with these habits that are already set. I know that life can work out in so many ways, and life is not exactly certain. Literally anything can happen at any moment. Because we are humans and we are living a life that is not so rigid, you don't have to be as rigid with your plans. Be stubborn with the vision. You want to get that bag? You want to get that cash? Be absolutely stubborn with it. But be flexible with the plan. There are, if not 100 or thousands of ways to be rich. Be sneaky and flexible with how you want to reach your goal. You don't have to have a gym membership to be in perfect shape. You can work out at home. There are YouTube videos. Don't settle. I guess that is it from me today, you guys. I was just really motivated to make this video because I have officially entered that phase of being disciplined and consistent. And just, I'm so fueled. I love it so much. I love being this way. This is why I thought it would be an amazing topic and concept to talk about. And if you have any further questions or insights or comments about this episode, how you would like me to improve, or if you have any of your own ways that helps you be consistent and disciplined, drop them down in the comment below. Thank you for tuning in once again. I hope you had a great time, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.